Here we're going to look at topic 8, example 3, understand slope-intercept form. The question is, how can you find an equation of a line that passes through 2 points if neither of them is the y-intercept? So we're still looking for y equals mx plus b. But remember, earlier, we were dealing with, we had a slope, we were given the slope, and we were given the y-intercept. This time, we're not given either one of those. All right, we're not given the slope or the y-intercept. We're just given 2 points. Now, I could graph this, and I could do some counting and see where the y-intercept is, but we're going to work this out instead. We're not going to just plot it on a graph and see if we can count, because you won't always be able to do that. So the first thing we want to do is we want to find the slope. And remember that the slope, m is equal to the slope, and our slope is rise over run. And the formula for that is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And what I can do is I can label my points, and I'm going to call these x1, y1, and x2, y2. You can consider these x2, y2, and these x1, y1, but what you have to do is that the ones have to be grouped together and the twos have to be grouped together. So I'm going to substitute my numbers in. My y values, I'm going to pull from here. So I'm going to plug in 4 minus negative 2. Be careful with your signs. All right, so 4 and negative 2. And then my x values, sorry about that. My x values, x2 and x1. Again, be very careful with the signs. Make sure you follow the same order. So 3 minus negative 1. 4 minus negative 2, that becomes 4 plus 2. 3 minus negative 1 becomes 3 plus 1. So that's going to be 6 over 4, which reduces to 3 over 2. So my slope, let's go right here. My slope is going to be 3 over 2. Now that still doesn't tell me what my y-intercept is. The next thing we want to do is to find the y-intercept. What you're going to do is you're going to take y equals mx plus b. We know what m is. We know that m is 3 over 2. I'm trying to figure out what b is, because that's my y-intercept. What I'm able to do is I can pick either one of my points. It doesn't matter which point I pick, negative 1, negative 2, or 3, 4, and I can plug those in as my x values. So I'm going to use the point 3, 4. You could use negative 1, negative 2. I'm just choosing to avoid those negatives. So for my x and y values, x is going to be 3, and y is going to be 4. Okay, so I can use either point. I can use negative 1, negative 2, or 3, 4. Again, I'm choosing to use 3, 4. Now I have an equation that only has one unknown variable. So here I can solve. I get 4 equals, this would be 9 over 2 plus b. So I'm going to change that, or we don't have to necessarily change it. With calculators, we can use that. So I'd subtract 9 over 2. I know it looks weird with a fraction like that, but 9 over 2, right, is 4.5. So 4 minus negative 4.5, we would get negative 1/2. So b is equal to negative 1/2. That is going to be, running out of colors here, that is my b value. So for the equation y equals mx plus b, I can now say that y is equal to 3 over 2 x minus 1/2. Right, this is my b value, and this was my m value. And they said, how can you find an equation of a line? This is an equation of a line. It might seem a little complicated at first, but you should pick up on this pretty quickly. It's going to be the same process each time. They'll give you 2 points. You use those 2 points to find the slope using the slope formula, which is right here, this y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Once you know the slope, you plug in the slope as your end value, and then pick one of the points, doesn't matter which one. In this case, we use 3, 4. Plug in x and y, so you'll now have x, m, and y plugged in. Solve for b, and then rewrite your final equation only using m and b. And that's it.